This will surprise you, I'm sure, not at all. President Trump today tweeting, saying this in one instance, quote, "Just returned from France, where much was accomplished in my meetings with world leaders. Never easy bringing up the fact that the United States must be treated fairly, which it hasn't, on both military and trade. We pay for large portions of other countries' military protection." And the president sat down for a lunch with President Macron, Chancellor Merkel, President Putin, other leaders. Sarah Sanders saying they discussed Syria, trade, the situation in Saudi Arabia, China, North Korea, and we're sure much more. Joining us tonight to talk about the president's trip to France, Macron's comments on nationalism. This is a French leader that I just find very, very French. Christian Whiton, former State Department senior advisor in the Trump and George W. Bush administrations, joining us tonight. Good to have you with us. And Fred Fleitz, former Chief of Staff for the National Security Council, incoming president and CEO of the Center for Security Policy. Great to have you with us. Fred, let's start with you. This nonsense that Macron was spewing on nationalism, the ghosts of the past from the armistice of the First World War. Has the little fellow lost his mind? I mean, that's just an absurd exercise in etymology and semantics, which eluded him, obviously.
Well, Lou, it's great to be here. It was shameful because Macron was lumping together the hyper-nationalism of far-right groups and far-left groups with the benign America First nationalism, President Trump, which actually is a rejection of the failures and excesses of internationalism that's hurt the American people, like trade deals where Americans have lost their job. Globalism, international multilateralism, whatever you want to call it. Trump rejects these things because the American people have been hurt. NATO states don't meet their commitments. And there's far-left organizations that are anti-Israel and anti-U.S. that the president stood up to, like the UN Human Rights Commission will not pass resolutions condemning Venezuela, Cuba, or Nicaragua, but does want to condemn the United States and Israel.
I have never understood why we put up with the so-called Human Rights Council.
The president withdrew from this. That's America First in action.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I don't understand why any president ever put up with them, because they were an affront primarily to Israel. And Israel is our key ally in the Middle East. Christian, I don't know why more people aren't saluting this president for having the guts, the vision, the foresight to absolutely insist, guess what? He should be acting in the interest of the United States first and foremost.
All right. Well, Macron is feeling very upset because Donald Trump is making life inconvenient for him, especially on trade, pushing Europe on trade. Trump has actually gotten the Germans to the point where they're willing to bring down tariffs, essentially to eliminate tariffs, go to zero. But the one thing is we need the French to be willing to reform agriculture. They just don't want to compete with American farmers. So Macron is mad at Trump over that. He's mad because his economy is lousy. It's anemic. It's growing at 1.6%. That's half the American rate. He's upset that he has to spend a little bit more on defense. They're only at 1.8% of GDP in France. That's below the 2% minimum of NATO, way below what we spend on their behalf. So he just doesn't like what Donald Trump is doing, and he's striking back.
Well, isn't that too bad? I mean, isn't that too bad? Macron, who could have been an important ally of the United States in the interest of his nation, he could have put France first, and he and President Trump could have been great partners if he had had the maturity, the intelligence, and just half of the intelligence of President Trump.